Ayo, chapter 116 was not only hype, but it was one of the longest chapters that we have ever gotten in this series. So Matsumoto cooked up plenty for us to feast on. And for starters, even though Narumi is a child that has never grown up deep down, it was absolutely amazing to see him and Hoshina team up in combat during this chapter. Who would have thought that Narumi of all people would have foresaw the perfect partnership way back when? It's just that he got turned down by Troll Hoshina, and you can't hate on either of them for it. Honestly, it's a funny situation. But seeing Hoshina freely operate within the attacking domain that Narumi created had me so lit this chapter. And to add on to this, Matsumoto blessed us with some of the most amazing panels in this series during this chapter. Narumi literally becoming Kaiju number 1 was such a dope panel. And I think that Narumi and Hoshina are meant to show us what Kafka can become when he fully accepts himself. Hoshina has accepted how much he truly loves fighting. And Narumi is somebody that has also accepted how great he is at what he does, and he wants to be the best at it. I say this because at the end of the chapter, we saw the Ghost Samurai Warrior again. And it's clear to see that Matsumoto was also drawing some inspiration from Bleach with Kafka's current situation. For so long now, Kafka has been suppressing Kaiju number 8, and because of that, he has formed no sort of connection with Kaiju number 8. He's having trouble accepting himself that he is a Kaiju at this point. At every turn, he's always trying to prove that he's still a human, and at this point, him and Kaiju number 8 are one person. They are one entity, yet similar to Ichigo, Kafka keeps on trying to suppress that Kaiju side of him because he's afraid of it and the implications that it could cause. And we'll talk about that in this video. So let's get into it. So chapter 116 starts off with a flashback to the first time that Narumi ever sees Soshiro Hoshina. And funny enough, Narumi didn't like Soshiro because his looks reminded him of Soichiro, and I gotta imagine that Narumi doesn't like Soichiro because Soichiro is also a close quarter combat specialist, which just challenges Narumi for all of his top spots. But the one thing that Narumi did notice about Soshiro was the fact that he had a very refined signal stream, which was not normal for a rookie at all. So the next time that Narumi saw Hoshina, he told Hoshina, "You shouldn't be in the 3rd division. Come join the 1st division and use your talents alongside me." And funny enough, from our perspective, we know why, but Hoshina told Narumi no. He said, "I'll pass. I've already decided who I'm going to be following." And all Narumi heard was no. But we know that Mina Ashiro was the only person that gave Hoshina a chance, knowing who he was, what kind of soldier he was going to be. A swordsman who was fighting outside of the Edo period. But all Narumi heard was no, and also saw the accomplishments that Hoshina went on to achieve. He went on to become the 3rd Division Vice Captain. He went on to beat all the close quarter combat records that Narumi set. And on top of that, he's still talking down to Narumi all this time later. We go back to current time and see Hoshina get Narumi a little bit more amped up and tells him, "Hey bro, don't slow me down while we're going to fight this thing." And they get into combat versus the Daikaiju from the Meireki era. Quick little tidbit before we go into this next part. Dog, whenever that kid noticed that it was Narumi that pulled up to the scene, I cannot be the only one that thought that this little kid looked like a mini Kafka hibino. I don't know, Kafka, bro. You either got a long lost son that you want to go get some milk for, or you got a little brother that you just don't know about, bro. But there is no way that these two dudes aren't related. But back to the action. Narumi and Hoshina both get on opposite sides of this Daikaiju, and Narumi looks over at Hoshina's side and says, "Hey, I'm gonna cut down this Daikaiju and possibly you two in the process." And Hoshina, just being cold as hell, says, "Don't worry, I'll dodge it." And they both just begin their onslaught towards this Daikaiju. And all this onslaught looked so damn cool, bro. There's nothing to even say about what's happening in between. Look at how amazing the action panels look of all of this gun sword style. Anytime that Narumi actually takes a slash, he's also shooting at the same time. So there's bullet explosions that this Daikaiju has to dodge, on top of also blocking slashes that are coming from not only Narumi, but Hoshina just attacking at 1,000,000 miles a minute, and all of it looks so cool. But one thing that was also amazing was hearing the scientists explain just how crazy these Daikaiju numbered suit users are. Kurusu goes on to explain that when a captain class officer engages in combat at full release, any officer that is in that designated area underneath 60% combat power has to leave, because they would literally be subject to damages that could happen, because these numbered suit users literally become these kaijus themselves. They have that amount of destructive power within that suit, their hands, and just written all over them. And even more so, when Narumi is fighting, he turns into number 1, which is the strongest numbers weapon in Japan. So nobody should be able to survive within a 100-meter radius of him. And even though Kurusu knows all of this, Vice Captain Hoshina is the only person that he's ever seen freely fight within Narumi's domain. That was one of the coldest explanations for why Hoshina is that guy in this series. But to go further than there, Hoshina keeps on fighting alongside Narumi, and Kaiju number 10 says, Hoshina, who is this dude, bruh? Like, I want to fight against him. This dude is crazy strong. And even after we just saw how much Kurusu gassed up Hoshina looked over at 10 and said, hey, that is one kaiju, not human, bro. Not Defense Force soldier. Hoshina said that is one kaiju that I want to fight 1v1 the least. And that is everything that I needed to see to know that right now in this series, Narumi is without a doubt the second strongest character. What you talking about? Hoshina is the GOAT. And if you think any different, I don't care. I said what I said. It's not about what the manga says. It's about pushing the agenda. Hoshina is the GOAT, the strongest, but Narumi is a very close second, bro. And that panel of Narumi having the kaiju number 1, like, tie or shoelace strings between his teeth went crazy. But at that point, Narumi and Hoshina finally start closing in on this Daikaiju. It's no longer evading them, and Hoshina and Narumi both at that time use what they hope to be the last attack that they will have to use against this Daikaiju to take it out. Hoshina charges in with his 8-fold slasher, while Narumi is using his 7-branch sword. They're attacking from opposite sides, and this Daikaiju from the Meireki era literally just says, hey bro, chill, and stops both of them. Without even attacking back, just stops their weapons in place. Okay, yeah. He stops it in place, and then next thing you know, this Daikaiju looks like it's about to explode. That's what it looks like. But I can't help but feel like it's not that this Daikaiju is about to explode, but rather that it's finally starting to manifest itself. It's starting to climb out of the chest of Kaiju number 9. But I could be wrong. I could be very wrong. Because one power that we did see Kaiju number 9 use is that a few chapters back, probably like 6-7 chapters or so, it turned its tail into like that exploding weapon of sorts. So maybe one of its powers is that it can just explode itself, or whatever that might be. But I have a feeling that it might be starting to, like I said, manifest itself outside of Kaiju number 9's body, which is terrifying in itself. And that is the cliffhanger that we get with this Daikaiju from the Meireki era versus Narumi and Hoshina. But without a doubt, we do know Narumi and Hoshina, even though they looked so cool in this onslaught, even though their camaraderie was amazing, I would say that they look cooler working together than even Kafka and Mina did. It felt great to see Mina and Kafka fight alongside each other because it was a promise they made, but as far as just looking raw, bro, Narumi and Hoshina were them. And they were nothing for this Daikaiju, bro. This Daikaiju wrapped that shit up in one chapter. And then we go over to Kafka being in that sinking conscious space that we've seen him in a few times before. He says that he can hear everything happening on the outside. He hears all the fighting going on, but he can't wake up. He keeps on trying to make himself wake up and tell himself to go back and fight, and he's not done yet. And then he hears a voice ask him, is continuing fighting what you desire? And Kafka's like, bro, who is this? And he says, despite the severity of your wounds, you still desire to return back to the battlefield. And Kafka's still wondering, bro, who is this? And then he stops himself and says, nah, yes, that is my desire. It doesn't matter who it is. It doesn't matter who's asking this. I want to go back and fight alongside Mina. I want to go back and fight alongside my friends. I just want to go fight. And then we see that samurai warrior reappear again. It says, I see, then come in order to form a stronger connection with us. And Kafka says, and we see that same electricity go through the screen that we saw the first time that the ghost from the Reuni Shrine appeared. And it's going to be dope. We're finally going to see the origin of Kaiju number 8. We're going to see, how did this samurai warrior become Kaiju number 8? Or where did Kaiju number 8 come from? Everything, right? Like, so many questions to be answered, but it'll be really cool too to just see what route this ends up going. It's really, really dope to see this moving kind of towards like that Bleach route where, yeah, bro, Kafka, you're literally suppressing what is going to help you become what you need to be to save your friends, to fight alongside of them. So obviously we're going to start feeling those vital signs coming back from Kafka soon, but we're going to see where Kaiju number 8 comes from. One thing that I've really started feeling as of late is the whole reason that Kaiju number 8 found Kafka to begin with is because Kafka, right before he was about to die, started reminiscing on everything that he was upset about, bro. Whenever Reno almost got attacked by that spider-looking kaiju, and he said, bro, I couldn't protect Gordamon, my video game. I couldn't help Mina protect Miko the cat. And now I can't even protect Reno, bro. And just yelled, damn it all. Like, he was so mad at Kaiju. And all he wanted to do was fight. And it seems like Kaiju number 8 is the same way, bro. It is so mad at Kaiju, and it just wants to fight. It wants to kill Kaiju, just like it said. So that was the reason that I think Kaiju number 8 found Kafka, bro. It knew that Kafka was going to be somebody that would keep on fighting, right? Almost kind of like the attack Kaiju instead of the attack Titan type stuff. But Kafka has been suppressing that for so long, right? He has not been able to form any sort of connection and even try to figure out why Kaiju number 8 pulled up in the first place and said, I found you. What do you mean I found you? You were looking for me for what? From the get-go, Kafka has been just trying to keep on proving that he's human. He's trying to suppress this kaiju side of him because he doesn't think that he can chase his dreams unless he is a human, right? And he's already founded his dream, bro. He fought alongside Mina, being a kaiju or a human, it doesn't matter. So this story is starting to get to like a philosophical place and a cool place for Kafka, bro, because Kafka's going to have to accept the fact that he is a kaiju now. But once he becomes stronger and builds this connection, I have a very good feeling that once he accepts what he is, what he's become, I don't think that he's going to be bound by permanently becoming a kaiju anymore. He should be able to transform back and forth easily. He should be able to draw out a lot more power than what he's been able to draw out before. Remember just a couple of chapters ago, Kaiju number 9 even looked over at Kafka and was like, wait, bro, you don't even know where you came from and you still have that much power? Like, you really must have been angry, bro. And it's true. Like, Kafka really must have been angry in order to beat number 9 like that and not even have the full connection that he should have at this point. So next chapter will be hype, y'all. We will finally start exploring the origins of Kaiju number 8. We will finally see Kafka start building this connection and accepting who he really is. That way he can become what he is supposed to become. Very similar to Ichigo. So, hey, let me know what y'all thought about this chapter down below in the comments. I know that it's been a while, bro. It's been almost a full month since any other content has dropped on the channel. So sorry about that. I'll talk to Darzis, get him start uploading a little bit for some Undead Unluck. He also, I think that we got some other plans about maybe another manga series that we might talk about on the channel coming up soon. So stay tuned. But as always, if you came and watched this video, arigato, and I will be back. So until then, peace.